Living with breathlessness is hard. It makes every day a challenge. People trying to cope with breathlessness desperately want it to go away. But here is the problem. Even with the best possible treatments, many people still feel breathless. Sometimes even when the disease causing the breathlessness is stable, the breathing keeps getting worse. It's almost like the breathlessness takes on a life of its own, separate from the lung or heart problems that caused it in the first place. So why does this happen? The answer seems to be that vicious cycles develop, which make the breathing feel even worse. The breathing, thinking, functioning model is a helpful way of thinking about breathlessness by showing us the three main vicious cycles. So, what are they? When people are breathless, the natural reaction is to try to take big breaths into the upper chest. This leads to people panting with tense shoulders. It makes the breathing inefficient, making it feel even harder and more uncomfortable. A real vicious cycle. Another normal reaction to breathlessness is to feel anxious. Breathlessness and anxiety often come hand in hand. Frightening thoughts like, "Is this my last breath?" can rush through the mind, but unfortunately this fear actually makes the breathlessness feel even worse. This spiral of breathlessness and fear can sometimes lead to panic attacks. The third vicious cycle involves another natural reaction to breathlessness. It's such an unpleasant feeling, people try to avoid it by moving around less. Sometimes people can think that making themselves breathless by doing things might actually be harming them. Family and friends try to help with the chores, so there's even less need to move around. But the problem is that being less active makes us less fit, and of course being less fit makes the breathlessness worsen even more. So what's happening here? The normal and natural reactions to feeling breathless are in fact making the breathlessness even worse. Suddenly things can begin to make sense. It's not just about the lung or heart disease, it's about the vicious cycles making the breathing even worse than it need be. Although vicious cycles are frustrating because they can make things worse, they can be broken. What's more, it's often only a small change that's needed to break it, flipping it over into a cycle of improvement. So a small change has the potential to make a huge difference. Understanding this can be motivating as it shows that something can be done about the breathing. For people experiencing breathlessness, one of the vicious cycles tends to be the most important. If in the breathing cycle, it can be so helpful to understand that it's not necessary to work hard to take big breaths in. Instead, it may help to focus on breathing out, relaxing the upper chest and shoulders. When there's a lot of fear and anxiety, it can be good to talk through the frightening thoughts and learn ways of relaxing the body and mind. And for people who have become less active, it's important to realise that becoming active again will help the breathlessness as well as general health and well-being. Overall, although it may not be possible to change what is happening in the lungs or heart, we can influence how we think, feel and behave. Making small changes to the natural reactions to breathlessness can make a big difference. People experiencing breathlessness can take back control, focusing on living as well as possible.